Sometimes you wonder, did anyone truly see what you did when no one was watching? The way you gave, even when you were breaking inside. The way you held others together while your own soul trembled in silence. There were moments when your strength felt invisible, your kindness unnoticed, your love unreturned. But listen carefully, heaven was watching. God saw every hidden act of compassion, every time you helped without recognition, every quiet prayer you whispered for someone else's pain. He saw the nights when you stayed awake holding hope for others, even as your own heart was aching for rest. You thought no one noticed, but heaven did. The divine kept record of your goodness, even when the world looked away, and now something has shifted in the unseen realm. The same eyes that watched you give in silence are now watching to bless you in public. Heaven is whispering, it's your turn to receive, your turn to be seen, your turn to be lifted. This message didn't find you by coincidence, it found you by divine alignment. Because your season of unseen giving has ended, and your season of visible restoration has begun. What you sowed in tears you will now reap in light. Every silent offering of love is returning multiplied, purified, and destined to reach you exactly when your soul needs it most. So before we continue, pause for a moment. Feel that energy moving toward you. This is heaven remembering you. If you can feel that confirmation deep inside, like a pulse awakening your spirit, it's because this message is yours. Leave a 99 in the comments, not as a number, but as a spiritual code. 99 represents completion, the end of a cycle and the birth of divine reward. Do it with faith, because heaven responds to action. And as you do, prepare yourself, because what's coming next will show you why God saw you when no one else did. There are things that happened in your life that no one will ever know, and yet, heaven remembers every single one. The world may have forgotten your kindness, but the universe never erases truth. Every act of love, every quiet sacrifice, every moment you chose compassion over pride. They are all written in eternal ink. You thought it was small. That smile you gave when your heart was breaking. That favor you did when you had nothing to spare. That prayer you whispered for someone who would never thank you. But in the invisible realm, those moments shook the heavens. The divine saw you give when you were empty, forgive when you were wounded, believe when logic told you to give up. And while others looked away, heaven leaned closer. Nothing escapes the gaze of the eternal. Your story was never ignored. It was being recorded. Every tear you wiped, every hand you held, every soul you lifted, they became divine entries in the book of remembrance. You didn't realize it, but while you were planting comfort into others, you were sowing miracles into your own future. Every good deed became a seed, hidden beneath the soil of time, waiting for its season to bloom. The beauty of divine timing is that it often feels like silence before the breakthrough. But silence is not absence, it's preservation. God doesn't forget. He archives. He waits until the moment of impact, when the return will mean the most. That's why you felt unseen, because your story was being written in private, before it could be revealed in public. Heaven is not in a rush. It's precise. The blessings attached to your name are still alive, still breathing, still orbiting your destiny, waiting for divine command to be released. And now something in the spiritual dimension has shifted. Those hidden records are opening. What was written in silence is about to echo in manifestation. You will soon witness people recognizing your light without knowing why, opportunities aligning effortlessly, doors unlocking as if by memory, because heaven remembers what you thought was forgotten. So if you've ever asked, did it even matter? The answer is yes, it mattered more than you can imagine. Your kindness built bridges you haven't crossed yet. Your prayers built homes you haven't entered yet. Your love built altars where angels now gather with your name on their lips. The archives of heaven are alive with your compassion. And right now those pages are turning. Something is about to be released from what you thought was lost. And before this video ends, you'll understand. The reward for what was unseen is already moving toward you. There were moments when you gave your last ounce of strength. Not because you had plenty, but because something sacred inside you refused to let darkness win. You poured from an empty cup, believing somehow that love would multiply itself. And it did, but not in the way you expected. God wasn't punishing you by allowing those moments. He was purifying you. He was teaching you the rarest form of faith, the faith that gives when there's nothing left to give. You weren't being used, you were being sculpted. Heaven was refining you like gold in the fire, separating what was temporary from what was eternal. The world didn't see it, but every act of giving while you were empty was heaven's classroom. Each time you helped someone while silently breaking inside, you were learning the divine rhythm of creation, giving birth's expansion. You were never losing, you were enlarging your capacity to receive. God saw how you gave when no applause followed, how you stayed kind when bitterness tried to take root, how you chose love over resentment even when it hurt. That's not weakness, that's divine maturity. Your pain was heaven's forge, reshaping your spirit into something unbreakable. The reason you had to pour out while you were empty is because empty vessels echo the loudest in the heavens. When you gave from scarcity, your love made a sound that reached God's throne. That's what moved heaven, the purity of your heart in the absence of reward. You comforted others while your own soul trembled in silence. You became peace in the middle of storms that weren't even yours. You were a bridge for others while no one built one for you. But that was never a coincidence. It was initiation. You were being initiated into divine abundance, because God cannot trust just anyone with overflow. He tests the vessel first, and the test is simple. Can you still give when the world gives you nothing back? You did, and that's why the heavens have marked you as trustworthy. You learned the sacred paradox. The emptier you felt, the closer you were to being filled. Every time you thought you were breaking, heaven was actually stretching your capacity to carry blessings. Your heartbreak didn't destroy your purpose, it deepened it. Your loneliness didn't diminish your light, it concentrated it. You thought God was silent, but He was watching to see if your love could survive lack, and it did. That's why the next season will look nothing like the last one. The storms that once drained you will now push you forward. The same heart that used to give until it hurt will now receive until it heals. Because every empty season was never about what you lost. It was about what heaven was making room for. So pay attention, because when the cup that once ran dry begins to overflow, you'll realize God didn't let you give from emptiness to break you. He did it to prove that your spirit could never truly run out. And that's the secret that shifts everything. The moment you understand it, your entire destiny begins to unlock. There comes a sacred turning point in every divine timeline. A moment when the heavens declare, enough waiting. It's time. That moment is now. For years you gave without expectation, you loved without measure, and you endured without acknowledgement. But the spiritual law that governs all energy, the law of divine return, has been activated. Every act of kindness, every tear shed in compassion, every sacrifice born of love was never lost. It was accumulating interest in the vaults of eternity. The universe operates by sacred balance, and God Himself ensures that what leaves your heart in love will always find its way back multiplied. You see, divine law doesn't forget. It watches, it measures. It waits until the appointed hour when return becomes revelation. You may not see it yet, but everything you poured into others has been transmuted into spiritual currency, and heaven is ready to release it into your life in forms you couldn't even imagine. Don't expect it to come from those you helped. They were never your source. God was simply using them as an opportunity to reveal what lived inside you. The return doesn't come from man. It comes from heaven's decree. And when heaven decrees justice, nothing on earth can delay it. This is not charity. This is divine recompense. This is heaven balancing the scales on your behalf. Every moment you gave while bleeding, every prayer you spoke through tears, every time you chose mercy over revenge, they've all been counted. Now the scales are tipping. You've entered the season of divine settlement, where debts unseen are repaid by the Creator Himself. You're not just being rewarded, you're being vindicated. The blessings that are coming aren't random. They are calculated, precise, and wrapped in the exact measure of love you once gave. You will see people start treating you differently without knowing why. Favor will begin to follow you into rooms where your name was never mentioned before. Doors will open that logic cannot explain, because heaven is repaying you in ways that human hands never could. What you gave from brokenness will return as wholeness. What you sowed in tears will return as laughter. What you offered in silence will return as songs of joy. This is the reversal that divine law guarantees. And just as there was a time when nothing seemed to move, now everything will accelerate. The same stillness that once tested you will now become the silence before the miracle breaks through. You are standing in the energy of release, the invisible moment before manifestation bursts into sight. And if you listen closely, your spirit can already feel it. A vibration, a stirring, the echo of heaven preparing to deliver what's rightfully yours. You will soon realize that none of your giving was in vain. Every unseen act was an investment, not in people but in destiny. The return is not coming to you. It's coming through you, reshaping your entire reality. Stay still, chosen one. The law has been activated. What once cost you everything is now about to crown you with everything. And before this message ends, something in your spirit will recognize. The transaction has already begun. You'll know it's near, not because someone tells you, but because the atmosphere around you begins to change. It starts subtly, like the air before dawn. The heaviness that used to follow you begins to lift, and in its place, there's a strange peace you can't explain. The same situations that once triggered you suddenly lose their power. It's not that the storm disappeared. It's that your spirit outgrew it. That's one of the first signs. The shift from resistance to rest. The old exhaustion fades, replaced by a calm knowing that something sacred is unfolding. And then it begins. Doors that were welded shut start to creak open without effort. Calls you didn't expect. Opportunities that feel tailor-made for your soul. People appear in your life not to take, but to give. Mirrors of the compassion you once poured into others. They carry the same frequency you carried in your giving seasons, and they are heaven's response in human form. When divine reward draws near, synchronicities multiply. You'll find yourself in the right place at the right time, guided by impulses that feel supernatural. You'll walk into spaces and feel the energy recognize you, as if the universe whispers, "You've arrived." It's not luck. It's alignment. Heaven is rearranging people, places, and timing to fulfill what was promised. You might even notice people from your past reappearing, not for closure, but as witnesses. They'll see the same person they once overlooked now walking in divine elevation. Because when God restores, He doesn't do it in secret. He does it so others can see what faithfulness looks like rewarded. Your life will begin to mirror what you once gave away. Where you once comforted, you'll now be comforted. Where you once gave love freely, love will now find you relentlessly. Where you once felt unseen, divine light will spotlight you in unexpected ways. Even the things that once drained you, responsibilities, relationships, memories, will begin to bless you, refined through grace. It's not random. It's evidence that the law of divine return has entered manifestation. You'll start waking up feeling lighter, as if your spirit already knows abundance is near. You'll dream clearer, feel more grounded, sense that heaven is closer than ever. The timing of everything will start to make sense, as if the delays were never delays but divine choreography. Every unanswered prayer will begin to reveal its purpose. Every no will start to look like protection. The same universe that once seemed silent will now echo back to you in blessings, confirming that your season of receiving is here. Watch closely. Creation will begin to speak your name. The wind will carry signs. Conversations will confirm what your spirit already knows. The cycle has turned. You are no longer chasing. What is yours is now chasing you. And as this truth unfolds, you'll feel something deep within, a gentle realization that the long wait was never wasted. Because the giver has finally become the receiver. The one who sowed in tears is about to reap in undeniable joy. And if you can feel that electricity in your chest right now, it's not emotion, it's recognition. Something holy is approaching your life, and its footsteps are already at your door. Heaven's message is clear, and it's echoing through every layer of your reality. It's your turn. Not a promise, not a prediction, a proclamation. For so long, you've been the one in the background, holding the line, pouring light into everyone else's darkness, trusting that somehow, someday, your own dawn would come. And now, that moment has arrived. God is not just rewarding you, He's restoring you. What you lost in the battle is returning, but not in the same form. It's coming back refined, elevated, divine. The strength you thought was gone, the peace you thought would never return, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers. All of them are finding their way back home to you, wrapped in divine precision. The energy you spent helping others is now cycling back into your life in waves of fullness. You'll feel it like breath, a sacred ease replacing every struggle. This is the season where what was invisible becomes visible, The prayers you whispered years ago, the seeds you buried in silence, the dreams you almost gave up on, they are surfacing now, in perfect timing. Because heaven never forgot them. You are about to walk into answered prayers you forgot you prayed. It's the divine law of return meeting the divine law of revelation, where unseen obedience becomes seen abundance. When heaven says, "It's your turn," it doesn't mean a single blessing. It means a shift in identity. You are no longer surviving. You are ascending. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You are the chosen. The same God who watched you suffer in silence is now announcing you in light. Your name is being whispered in rooms of opportunity, in hearts that carry the power to open doors. You won't have to chase. Divine alignment will bring everything to you. Favor will locate you. Support will recognize you. Resources will flow to you effortlessly because the time for struggle has expired. You've passed the test. You've proven your heart under pressure. And heaven has decided it's your moment to shine. Every delay was synchronization. Every heartbreak was a clearing for the real blessing to enter. You're not just stepping into a new chapter. You're stepping into your divine sequence where every piece finally fits. The blessings that once seemed scattered are now converging into one perfect moment of revelation. This is the unveiling of the promise. The light that hid you to protect you is now revealing you to elevate you. So stop questioning. Stop doubting. You are already inside the prophecy. The shift has happened. And as your spirit begins to feel the reality of it, remember this truth. Heaven never says, "It's your turn," without already preparing the stage. You are not being introduced to favor. Favor has been rehearsing your arrival. Everything is aligning with divine accuracy, and the next thing you experience will confirm that heaven's message wasn't metaphor, it was activation. Because from this point on, you won't just hope for your turn. You'll live it, chosen one. Take a deep breath. Can you feel it? That vibration running through your soul right now is not emotion, it's confirmation. Heaven saw what others ignored. You were the light flickering in dark rooms, the quiet strength holding broken hearts together, the prayer that no one heard but God. And now, the divine law is turning in your favor, not as repayment but as recognition. The same energy you poured into others is circling back, purified by grace, multiplied by divine order. This is not just your blessing, it's your unveiling. The universe itself is echoing the voice of your Creator. My child, it's your turn. You are stepping into a season where everything that once worked against you will begin to work for you. The stones that were thrown at you will become the foundation of your elevation. The silence that once hurt you will now announce your name in the heavens. What you thought was loss was actually preservation. What you thought was delay was divine choreography. Heaven didn't forget. It was waiting for the moment when your faith and your destiny would finally collide. That moment is now. Every good deed, every hidden sacrifice, every tear that hit the ground in secret, they are rising as proof that nothing you gave was wasted. God is turning every act of love into divine compensation, every moment of pain into proof of purpose. You are about to walk through days that feel like prophecy fulfilled. Days that make sense of everything that once broke you. The people who doubted you will watch in silence as favor wraps itself around your life like light. The spiritual tables have turned, and the same love you once gave freely will now surround you from every direction. The cycle of giving has completed. The cycle of receiving has begun. This is your reversal, your restoration, your recognition. You are not stepping into a blessing. You are becoming the blessing. Heaven is opening the floodgates because you proved that love could survive the test. You are the evidence that endurance turns pain into power. So declare it now, with every ounce of faith inside you. I'm ready to receive what God has prepared for me. Write it. Speak it. Claim it. Because when you release those words, heaven responds instantly. This is your divine moment, your confirmation that everything you lost was only making room for everything you deserve. Remember this truth as you leave this message. You were never forgotten. You are being prepared. Now step forward, chosen one. Your reward is already in motion.